teabag fodder. Take your teabag, trace a picture, photo of something that you have in mind for a theme. I decided to show you a tree because I'm working on a Hobbit theme. Use a stick glue and lightly coat the back, then glue it onto a 140-pound watercolor paper. I clipped the top and the bottom just to make it lay flatter. Then after that, you coat clear gesso over it to make sure that your paints will adhere well. I will be using gouache paints, which is a form of a watercolor, but pigment is intense. I also spray some water on the back so that it'll lay flat while I paint and after I paint. So I start by painting the tree, and I do use about 3 different colors, but in this, by the time I'm done painting the tree, and really the bottom doesn't matter too much for my project because I'm going to use the trunk and the tree behind something. Then I start with a lighter green, then just dot it all around the tree. I always start light to dark. Usually, I shouldn't say always. Usually I start light to dark, but sometimes I break that rule. I'm just taking the tip of my watercolor brush and dotting, circle, circle, circle. Now, by the time I'm done with this particular leaf section, I do use a darker green, and then a darker green, and then a blue green. Hello, I'm Vicki, Retro Queen Bee Art. Let's be busy in art. Now you're just going to watch me paint. I love to paint. It's one of my favorite things to do. This tree is going to turn into fodder. It will be fodder that's created with a tea bag on top of 140-pound watercolor paper. I think the gouache paint is bringing this to life. And then you do have a earth tone of the watercolor, underneath the watercolor, and you can see it coming up. I think this paper provides additional structural support for when you do cut. And, cut into a fussy cut fodder product. I just continue painting and painting. Now, watercolor is pretty forgiving. If this runs, well, I just add it into the color and makes a little darker green that's brown. But I am doing a dry application of gouache paint. It's nice to pick a theme when you do this kind of fodder. Of course, you don't have to. You can just make fodder and make fodder, but this particular fodder that I'm showing here does have a theme. The fodder has a theme, and I will be working on the theme, which will be Hobbit, Hobbit land, I guess. It's all about hobbits and houses and trees and a few animals, but I'll be working on it more Tuesday at 6 p.m. Pacific time on the Joyful Art Time show, my live show. Just painting away, painting away. Well, I hope you can join me Tuesday, that's today, at 6 p.m. to watch how I do put all the fodder pieces that I create into a nice, beautiful collage. And here I'm just trying to remove some of the paint. I wanted some lighter spots here to give more definition to the tree. And so how you do that is you just have a dry brush and keep removing the paint off the brush, and eventually you'll have lighter areas in your painting. Okay, so now I am going to use colored pencils to add the detail in the tree to make it look like it has leaves. There are puffy areas, maybe giving some definition, as you can see, to the outer edge, maybe creating some extra areas to look like leaves, just placing like little leaf structures. Inside the light area. I use several different types of colors with the color pencils as well. I'm using Prism. I have a whole bunch because I, in the past, did neurographic art. And so I'm looking here, and even on the edging, so I will create a little more edging as well on the tree. You do need to have sharp pencils for this. And just use your eye. There's no perfect way. Use your eye. Also, I am looking somewhat at my picture that I picked out. Of course, it's not going to turn out exactly like the picture, but you can look at the picture and get some ideas of how to resemble it as you are coloring. So the best you can do is, in your mind's eye, what you think looks good with the tree that you're coloring in. Different colors also add depth. And so I like that with my Fodder. My dog is barking in the backyard, so you may hear her, my precious Amber. I'm right in the middle of video recording, and of course she's got to become noisy. I hope it doesn't bother you. I do add some blue. I love blue and green in leaves or trees. It just looks so good. And here I'm taking green and, no, I'm black. I'm taking black and just edging things a little bit. Then I think I might pick a brown. So I'm looking at the browns, checking the color label. I notice when I'm thinking, sometimes I tap the table like you just saw with my fingers, like, oh, what am I going to do next? And I want to kind of hide some of these brown branches. They shouldn't look so stark. And so that's what I'm working on here, just circles, dots, little leaf shapes. And there will become a time that you can stop. You'll look at it and you'll say, okay, it's done. I really thank you for watching my video. Here I will be fussy cutting. I love the texture of the tea bag. And the tree has depth to it as well. I've made fussy cut doodles out of this paper, making plants and ferns, and it does make good fodder when you do doodles as well. So I encourage you to like, subscribe, and leave a comment. I really appreciate just hearing from someone out there in the art world. And hopefully You'll be able to join me on my live Tuesday to see what I do with my teabag Fodder theme of Hobbit land. Takes a little while to cut all around this tree. You have to keep moving your tree. It's how you want a fussy cut. You move your tree, move your tree. It does take some practice to be able to fussy cut like this, but once you've done it about 10 times, then you'll know what it feels like and can do a good job. Here it is, all done. I decided to add a little bit of black around the edging after I did my fussy cutting, just to give some highlight, more depth. I am doing a series on tea bags. I will not stop until I have reached 100 ways to use tea bags in junk journal art. I look at it, the final Fodder product.